Ain't it funny? We came to that. I thought I won you over, but you were holding back.
All right, welcome. This is a kind of shorter segment. We're gonna call this the 4-bit short show. A lot of S's in there. Make sure you articulate to get that right, boss. Don't want any mess ups. But this is a show that we're just going to kind of bring you some updates. It's maybe not anything that we are particularly, well versed in necessarily, but it's just something that we want to bring to you guys that we want to talk about a little bit. But we just don't know all the facts because we're not scientists in these particular areas. Pun intended for this bit. Mm-hmm. But today we're talking about the first ever photographed black hole. Mm-hmm. Boss, take us in. What do we know?
Yeah, so for starters, it's not actually a photo of the black hole. A black hole, there's no light can escape from the thing called the event horizon, which is at the edge of the black hole. And so what we're seeing in the picture is the light isn't the black hole because we can't see it. That is a combination of like dust and particles and light from like destroyed stars and asteroids, all kinds of matter and stuff that is circulating the gravity of the black hole. So kind of just like to give it a quick rundown of what happened, a bunch of scientists got together with the Event Horizon Telescope and they put several radio telescopes, I think it was 8 radio telescopes around the planet, and they took all this imaging of this black hole super far away and then all got it together, created an algorithm, and then made the picture as we know it.
So it's not a picture of said thing.
It's a picture of the shadow.
It's a more picture. Right. It's a picture of something that creates the silhouette, more or less, the shadow of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You could say, yeah.
Okay,
Which
so
gives it its donut shape.
Okay, so Collin, thoughts? What do you got?
I think it's pretty cool because it actually confirms, since we've never seen one before, we just theorized what it was. Then the math has always shown that it is in spherical in shape and like circular in shape, and this actually proves all that correct. That it's not just a byproduct of what we've been looking towards and predicting with how we're looking at things really far away. This actually confirms that for us, or mostly confirms it for us. Mm-hmm. And we do have like a black hole at the center of our galaxy, but we can't see it from Earth based off the way like our galaxy is formed and we're in it. And so looking out, we can see this, even though it's extremely far away. And so I think it's pretty cool. And so And I'm excited to see. It's funny because I was like, wow, it's really kind of blurry and everything. And so it's kind of interesting because you look at like photos of Pluto from 15 years ago, they were very blurry. Like,
were they really?
Yeah, and they were really bad. And then last year, when we flew a satellite right past it, we were able to take really, really high def photos right up close. It looks really, really good. And so I'm just excited to see what we'll see in 5, even a couple of years when they redo this and they get more accurate with their algorithm. What else, like what higher definition can we get?
Okay.
And so,
yeah, absolutely. So I am not very educated on this subject at all. So boss, if you can, or Collin, if you guys can, 2 questions. Mm-hmm. 1, why don't we have the technology to take better photos from where we are? And 2, or do we have the technology? And 2, will this black hole last long enough for us to get better images of it? Like you were saying, 5-10 years, are we going to be able to travel to this thing to get better images? Do you guys know? Do you know?
I mean, I don't know how far we are. We haven't even made it off our planet to another planet.
Right.
And we made it to the moon, but we haven't made it to any other. But we haven't put humans on any other planet. So I mean, it really depends on how fast science happens, I guess. How fast they're able to engineer like new technologies that can get us. Because 55 million light years, that's going the speed of light for 55 million years.
And so it's not a Sunday day drive away from us. No. So don't be trying to get into your vehicles or into your personalized rocket ships to take off, because you'll never make it. Yeah. You'll never be making that.
Do you remind me of your first question?
Why don't we have the technology to take better images of this? Mm-hmm. Is it because it's so stinking far away?
Yeah, it's
those
very
are
far
the
away.
images?
So they had to take.
This is just the best we got.
Yeah, they didn't take it with like an iPhone really zoomed in or a
Okay.
They use radio, so they use radio waves
Right.
with radio telescopes that were all around the Earth. Europe, North, South America, even Antarctica had one, and they compiled all this large bits of data, and then they had to create an algorithm to kind of decode it. So it wasn't just something where they could take the picture and go. And because it's so blurry, obviously because it's so far away, but also because we're limited on how far apart we can spread the telescopes by the size of our planet. So once we're able to get them into space and like going into space and maybe around other like celestial bodies in our solar system, we can get an even better image. But hopefully by that time we have a better way to do it than just the radio telescopes we have now.
Yeah. And my guess is that since this is really, well, it's not our first run at it, but it's our first successful run at looking at a black hole. My guess is that once they're able to fine-tune the algorithm and like Boss said, add more points of calibration and more off-body, as off-Earth body points of calibration. So if we get to the point where we have these types of telescopes on Mars and on Earth, and we're able to get a wider range, but also fine-tune those, we can get different angles that really you're piecing together. It's more like pieces of a puzzle that you're piecing together. The more pieces that you have, the more fine-tuned the image you can create of it is. And so we'll be able to actually, probably what will happen is we'll get a clear image of the event horizon. So if you look at the photo, it's actually like right around the shadow. It's actually kind of blurry, so it actually looks like it's a gradient rather than a defined edge. Yeah. And so what it shows like in the math and what we see in like movies and stuff and artist renditions is that there is a clear edge from when the light can be pulled out and we can actually see it, which is at the event horizon. And then once you go past the event horizon, the gravity is so strong, light can't pass back to our eyes. Okay. So that's why we can't take a visible photo, or we can't take a photo of it with light in the visible spectrum. But that's why we have to use within the radio spectrum, which is a different frequency. And so once we were able to fine tune that and really fine tune the frequencies that we're sending out, so we can get back and read those, I think we're going to be able to see the event horizon specifically, because that's what we really want to see is what type, what is consisting of a black hole, because we still have a lot of questions of what that is, because we don't know even what happens once matter goes into there. Yeah, very much so.
So my initial thought, I got like super interstellar vibes, obviously, from this.
Yeah.
How realistic? Because do they pass through a black hole?
Yeah.
Or what do they do?
At the end of Interstellar?
Is that how do they get to where Matt Damon is?
They go through a wormhole.
Wormhole, different, not the same.
Yeah. So wormhole is like a bending of space-time, like space fabric. And so instead of traveling along a plane, you bend it and you go through two different points. And so that's how you connect. So people say like, well, if you can't travel faster than the speed of light, how can you actually travel anywhere in space? Well, if you bend space, and so instead of me walking from here to the door, it's so far away. If I reduce that distance, then yeah. And so I don't really have to increase my speed. I just have to reduce the distance. I say that like it's really easy. But
right. Just go ahead and bend that right there.
Yeah.
So that's what he does in the movie. They go through a wormhole, and then at the very end, they fly into the black hole. And that was their way out. And that's when Matthew McConaughey saw like
all the weird stuff at
the later dimensions, or the bigger dimensions and everything. So
interesting.
Yeah. So we may see how correct Christopher Nolan was. Like
maybe one day, but I mean, that's probably very far off.
Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, like kind of in comparison, you want to kind of know a comparison compared to the. So in Interstellar, there's the black hole. The supermassive black hole is Gargantua. And so just kind of comparison of what we know. So Sagittarius A, which is the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, it's about 4 million times the mass of the sun. Okay, and the Interstellar's Gargantua, the made-up supermassive black hole, is about 100 million times the size of the sun. So even bigger. And then you get to the black hole that we just took a picture of at M87, which is the galaxy. Okay. It's at the center of the galaxy, and that one is 6.5 billion times the size of the sun. So it's like giant in comparison to all these other ones that we know of, and
we've
that are
seen.
fictional.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously,
Right.
there might be one somewhere labeled Gargantua with the same properties.
Right.
I mean, it's
And what is the name of this one? Did you already say?
Well, they don't have an official name for it yet. The scientists on the project are just calling it the M87 black hole.
Gotcha.
But there was a Hawaiian professor, I think, just a day or two ago, maybe today, who wants to call it after a Hawaiian phrase. It's Povehi, I think, is how it's said. And it's just essentially like the big black dark abyss type
Like
thing.
unfathomable.
I
something?
don't remember the
Adorned,
exact word.
fathomless, dark creation.
Yeah.
What? Is it?
Adorned, fathomless, dark creation.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best name for a black hole if I've ever. Gargantuan's like okay, but like that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Any final thoughts, you guys, before we wrap up this short episode?
I just think it's really exciting. It's
Yeah.
opening up a whole new layer. I mean, I don't know what to do with all the information, but I'm sure I've read that scientists are going to be able to use it to prove Einstein's theory of general relativity.
Okay.
So I'm excited about how it can help us
Yeah,
advance.
very nice.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think we, like I said before, I think we'll be able to see better images of it. But I also think that since we can fine tune this radio technology in linking different telescopes around the planet of Earth, I think we're going to be able to use that to look at other distant interstellar objects beyond black holes and really start to improve our imaging of really the universe around us.
Right.
And so I'm excited for that to see. Well, the same technology, we're going to use it for this and this and this. I'm just excited to see what's going to be coming up out of that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure to leave your comments below with what you're, excited about, what you're most looking forward to with new discoveries in our solar system. But this has been our very first short episode. Please leave your comments down below. But we will catch you guys in the next episode. See you later.
Can I care?